things going. Yeah, so we are up and running.
Oh,
How
I'm
you
so
doing, Steve?
nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Hello, Coach.
First off, I got to give a shout out to Tibbs and to Coach and to my mom and my dad.
Nice.
Because Tibbs, if you recall on his podcast, or it was on the radio at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
why are you nervous? This isn't live. I'm going to take this together.
I'm not nervous. I say things to get reactions, Schneider.
Sure.
That's me.
Okay, I get that.
I feed off reactions. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah. Okay, so Tibbs on his show, what did he say?
Oh, because he
shouted out like almost everybody.
He shouted out everyone, and so I felt like I had to return the favor.
Sure.
That's why.
Yeah. Well, I know you, and I'm sure his podcast is going to go a lot like the one with Joe went, because I know you've got a lot of stories to tell. And,
Except his stories are a little, we won't go there. They're edgy.
Yeah. You know, we're going to have we got tentative plans to get Josh Backert on this weekend.
Backert.
And I was just going back listening to some old shows, and there's a point in the Joe Tibbles episode where he talks about recruiting a bunch of people and running into high school days, and he actually specifically mentions Josh Backert.
Oh.
So,
Backert, you're up next, buddy.
Yeah, well,
I can't wait to hear that.
We'll see.
I'm very interested to hear his story.
I have a 6-page paper. Well, I have the first half of a 12-page paper due this weekend, and I have not started the writing process yet.
No.
I've done some research. I've gathered some sources, but in terms of actually putting it together, it's not very far.
It's a research paper.
Yes, it's for my History of the English Language class, which is my last class I need for my English minor.
Okay. So
I'm basically going to be comparing the differences and similarities between American English and British English.
Oh my goodness.
So
that is way above my intelligence level.
Well, there is definitely a lot of content out there, so that's
I
not
bet.
my concern. It's a matter of actually being motivated enough to sit down and put it together. Like I'm terrible with procrastination.
Oh, I'll motivate you.
Weaknesses. Yeah.
I'll be DMing you and texting you every second if you want me to.
Yeah, well, I'll keep you updated on my progress, I guess, and we can you can hold me accountable. But the thing is, like, I got to get these shows ready too. You're uploaded as well. So
you're bringing out like 2 a week at this point, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, we had Abby Van Patel on yesterday.
Really? I gotta listen to that one.
Well, it's not even out yet.
She got CCC Player of the Week.
Right?
Was that what it was?
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Go back and look that up before I finish putting it together. But yeah, that one's not even out yet. So it will be by the time you're listening to this. But
hello, future.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, I know time is not going to be an issue for us.
It should not be.
But like I do with most of my guests, just the first thing I want to ask you, tell me your story, how you got to Gordon.
Let me grab one of these because I like to fidget with things when I talk. It's just how I am. I have a baton in my hand. So, sorry, what did you say?
Coming to Gordon. What's your story?
So how he got to Gordon?
Yes, like how big a role did track play a role at all? What
absolutely not.
Did you look at? Okay.
So I'm actually a baseball player.
Okay.
Wikerd loves to, bully me on baseball all the time. But so track and field or sports was not in the equation at all. I actually applied to 3 colleges. I visited 2. The 2 colleges I visited were Gordon and Liberty University.
Liberty in Virginia?
Yeah. That school's amazing. Have you been there?
I have not, but I know a couple people that know a couple families from my high school that have sent a couple of their kids there. And 2 of my classmates went.
Their food?
I haven't heard much about their food.
As a person who loves food as much as I do, it was incredible. Like, unbelievable. Yeah. Like, the amount of, like... They had a smoothie bar and a sushi bar. Just imagine that. And it was like you swipe... It was like here in Lane, you swipe in, and it's unlimited.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Like, as a college student, to be able to do... That's just insane. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, boy. I'm sidetracking here. I visited Liberty and Gordon. Liberty was fantastic college, like I've been saying. but there's something missing. I felt I didn't quite know what it was at the time until I actually visited Gordon. Because when I visited Gordon, I'm like, something just feels right here. I don't know what it is, but I feel led to come here. And that's literally it. Okay, I'm going here. That's it.
It's like a feeling of a spirit coming over you. It's like, this is what you are called to, where you're called to be.
It was strange, because I remember distinctively standing in front of the bell. I was a senior in high school, and I'm like, this is the place. I just had that feeling. And I'm a first gen. I'm not sure if you know that, first gen college student.
Oh, really?
So
yeah, I didn't know that.
It was, my family did not know what to do. Like, for college, I'm paving the way. I'm paving the road for my family in college. So we didn't know like what college was the right fit, what I should be looking for. I didn't know what a liberal arts college was. I didn't know what D1, D2, D3 meant, like all that stuff. I didn't even know how to fill it a loan for college. So it was really tough deciding from a college. Like, I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to go to work with my dad.
What does your dad do?
He's an electrician.
Okay.
But I hated it. So I didn't know what to do. So I was like, all right, I'll just go to college. So I ended up here at Gordon just because it felt right. And actually, what are those people called in high school that are the guidance counselor?
Sure, yeah.
She actually went here and she recommended Gordon to me. And that's how Gordon was kind of thrown into my life, I guess you could say. And I was in front of the bell and just like, felt right. And from there, it leads into, I guess, my major came up first because I was undecided coming into Gordon. And I was thinking business. I took a few business classes. I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
How come?
I don't know. Just hated it. I'm very, either I like it or I don't.
And business was the latter?
Yes, it was. I don't know what it was. Just wasn't my forte.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
And then my advisor told me to take one of these classes. She said it's a little bit out there. There's a little bit of dancing involved in it. It's gonna push your your comfort. Or you're gonna be pushed out of your comfort zone. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that because I like to be pushed out of my comfort zone. Even though I'll express that I don't, I like to be pushed a little bit. So I took the class. It was with Dr. Jin. That woman is amazing. Let me just say that.
I've heard nothing but good things about her.
She is unbelievable. And I remember taking that class. About halfway through is when Gordon did all that thing, like when they started cutting those majors, and my major was one of them. So there was a lot of uncertainty. But at the end of that semester, I remember handing in my exam, and Dr. Jin gave me a hug and whispered in my ear, "This is your major." And I'm just like, you know what? If a professor is willing to put this much, effort, or she cared that much to like tell me this is my major, then I'd give it a shot. So that's how I ended up in the rec program here. So have you heard of my track story? Like how I got into track?
I don't believe I have.
Okay. So it was in Lane, and I remember the booth. It's on the left side, the second from where that little stage is. I was sitting with Will Hunt, who was on the cross-country team, and Will lived right next to me, so that's how I knew him. And we were sitting down eating lunch, and Wikerd was walking around saying hello to all his athletes in Lane. And then Will invited him over to sit down and eat lunch, and Wikerd sat next to me. And he said, "What's up, dude? What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Steve." He's like, "Nice to meet you." He's like, "Do you play any sports?" The natural recruiter coming out in Wikerd.
Sure.
And
this is when you bring up baseball?
The thing with my baseball, they cut my program. They just cut everything that I get involved in. In high school, they cut it because we didn't have enough participation. So I was on the varsity team from freshman year until junior year, and I didn't get to play senior season. But yes, I told him at that point, I have just identified myself as a power lifter. That was my sport, and I was completely invested in it at the time. And so I'm like, "Coach, I'm a power lifter." Or I said, "I'm a power lifter." And he's like, "Wow, you want to throw for us?" And I'm like, "Do I want to what?" "You want to throw for track this spring?" And I'm like, "Huh." Yeah, sure. Now that was literally it. And then I told him, because my dad always told me to throw. And I would consider that not my biggest regret, but one of the biggest things I wish I have done. And so I'm like, I might as well start now than never. So my dad always told me to throw in high school, and I was like, nah, I like baseball a lot. I'm going to do baseball. And so I did that, and then in college, it came up through Wikerd, and I'm like, I'll just give it a shot. And so that was it. I was done. I gave him my phone number, my email, and I was on the track team. That's literally it. And I just started throwing, and I turned out I was pretty decent at it. And I loved it.
Did you have any throwing experience at all?
None.
Zero.
So I came. I remember saying this to myself because I knew I kind of wanted to play baseball at Gordon, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to like participate in a sport. So I kind of said to myself in my head, I'll just wait till a coach comes up to me, just throwing it. Just a way to avoid the conversation with myself. And Wikerd came up with the track. Yeah, I had no experience. And I love it. I absolutely love track and field. I love watching relays, especially. Relays, dude, 4x1s are incredible. Unbelievable to watch. They're just, some of these people are so fast. Incredible. So that's kind of how I got into track.
So, throwing encompasses a lot, or it's a very...
it's very technical.
Yeah, it's a very diverse sport. So what events have you gotten into over the 2 years that you've been here?
So, freshman year, I did shot put. And then 2 weeks before conference, or 3 weeks before conference, I started throwing hammer. And I was all right at it, but then I started liking it more and more and more, and I now like it a lot more than shot put. And I ended up getting third place in the conference. Shout out Chase D. Rouse. We were going back and forth, between 0.1 meter.
You and Chase?
Yeah, we were going back and forth. It was so fun. But that's awesome because me and Chase, drive each other to be better.
Sure.
So I do shot put, hammer, and I'm practicing disc currently. So those are the three main events. I will never do javelin. It destroys the shoulder.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like throwing a football, but way worse.
Yeah. Chase was trying to recruit me for jab at one point.
Really?
Yeah.
We gotta get Rachel Brennan.
Yeah?
Did you see that picture?
Well, Angie Epplett was...
Really?
Threw some jab a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. But my thing was I wanted to focus, obviously I'm a mid-distance guy. Okay. I wouldn't want to go out for fun and want me to do it just to say I did it. If I were going to try it, I'd want to...
You'd want to commit.
Prepare and try to do it right. And, that's... I don't want to take up Eddie's time either, So it's if there was, one day after practice where, I could be shown at the very basic level, or for any throwing event, what it takes, that's something I'd be interested in. But in terms of actually doing it, in competition, it was never really anything that I had
too much
interest in.
Why not?
I don't know that I've got the upper body strength for it.
Come on, science.
I don't know.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. Should I give shot a shot, I guess?
Yeah, why not? I think if you were to give anything a shot, it'd be either disc or jav.
Yeah, disc I guess was the other one.
Because you never, I'm not going to say never, but generally you see jav and disc guys being sprinters. You never really see a shot putter or a hammer thrower sprinting or running distance. It's just the way it goes sometimes, unless you're a decathlete or heptathlete.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd come down for practice one day. Just say, Coach, I'm gonna go throw. He's gonna hate hearing this. I can just see his face right now.
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about that. Especially because I'm graduating, so that's.
So you have this is your final semester?
Yeah.
Really? Are you gonna do track?
That's the one thing I'm bummed about. Is
oh boy.
Well, and Coach knows my situation. He's
right.
Of course he's encouraged me to try to find a way, but he said ultimately at the end of the day, do what you have to do. which I appreciate that. But I'm actually thinking about like trying to, because everything is so crazy with the pandemic and everything. Like if they're, Sky Radio kind of never happened. Clearly stinks. we're in an office right now instead of the studio with my own microphone on my laptop. But I'd like to keep doing shows and interviews.
Right.
I don't know if, I think, the budget cuts have taken an effect on everything here. But I don't know if Jordan needed an assistant in the mailroom, I wouldn't be opposed to being some part-time help and get a local apartment up here and be able to be in the area and still come to events and come on here to do interviews and things like that would be cool. But I don't really know what my plans are yet.
So is Scott Radio not what's the deal with that this year?
I think they were. I mean, I got to be careful here because I don't know how much I can.
Okay,
say.
Don't say anything.
But basically, I think they were trying to figure out the budget with GCSA.
Okay.
And also the restrictions because of COVID, and it just never really.
Okay.
They never got very far.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was pretty popular.
Yeah.
And
it's like my.
And your livelihood.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was frustrating for me. It's like if I had known we weren't going to get it done, I would have started doing this a month ago.
Right.
I would have brought it back myself, but it was always okay, I think we're in talks. I think we're discussing it. Right. I think it's going to happen eventually, and it
there's never an answer.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to pump out 2 or 3 a week now and try to make up for lost time. I probably wouldn't be doing that if I had 5 or 6 in the backlog that we gotten done earlier. But right. I don't. So
do you plan to do this? How are we gonna do this after college? Do you want to?
I've got a bunch of friends back home, running from high school.
Right.
The second show we did was David Walzak.
Right.
And
he was a thrower.
Yeah.
I remember listening to that show.
Yeah. He and I were teammates since 8th and 7th grade,
really,
respectively. Yeah.
Wow.
So we go a long way back.
He was a senior last semester, right?
Right.
Okay.
So he came and actually. I was excited to run with him again because of course he ran cross country freshman year, but then switched to rowing and then came to track for a little bit, and then I think the business side of his time in college caught up with him. But yeah, it was great to have him on, and I got a bunch of teammates from high school I'd love to have on, and love to keep doing the show with anybody who would come on. So. If that's people here at Gordon, that's people back home. People I know from my online connections who I want to talk to over Zoom, we can. Mm-hmm. I'm open to anything, but I don't know what next semester is going to look like for me yet. So we're still trying to figure that out. But how did we get on this? Yeah, I was asking you about your tracks. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when I have a guest I know well enough that we can just
have a conversation.
Go on. Yeah, but yeah. So, let me ask you this: you came out for cross country last year.
Oh,
how did that happen?
Oh, Wikerd is very persuasive. Let me tell you that. He, I guess, saw potential in me throwing, and he said you can take it to the next level. Or he saw, I forget what meet it was. Was it Regis? There was a Regis meet, and remember how were you at that meet? It was it was the only it was freshman year.
Yes, so it wasn't the year it got snowed out. It was
it was the year after that.
Right.
Because I remember everyone talking about
Friday
that.
night. Yeah, I remember that meet.
And the throwers were throwing at the end, and everyone was watching.
Yeah.
That's when he called me chicken breast.
You know what I remember from that meet is I did the 800 and I was supposed to be an alternate for the 4x4, and Toro was I forget which leg he was, but he was supposed to do the 4x4, and I was I think I wasn't even the first alternate. I think Chandler was the first alternate, and I was the second alternate.
Oh, boy.
Well, the thing is,
what happened?
Toro and Chandler had the 5K right before the 4x4.
Yes.
So
I remember this.
Toro crosses the line, and he and Chandler ran a great race. Like, they were literally, like, they just each took a lap, like they were swapping.
I remember this.
Back and forth.
I remember watching.
It was a great race for both of them. And Toro crossed the line. You know, he's exhausted and everything, and Coach puts his arm around him and says, "And now Toro's got to get ready for a 4x4." And I'm standing like right there, which was a mistake.
Run, Schneider!
Yeah. Coach looks at me and says, "Hey, Schneider, are you warm?" And I'm like, a little bit. No warm-up whatsoever. Just like 5 minutes, got my spikes on.
That is amazing.
I think I did a 62, which is like...
What a story.
Yeah. But enough about me.
No.
You... So everybody's watching the throwers.
Right, and I made it to the finals, and those throws were not terrible, but towards the end, like, I was progressing. I peaked at, like, my second or third throw, and then I started just declining in distance. So, I told this story because this led him, when was it? He came up to me mid-season. He always would say, "You want to run cross country?" I'm like, "Why would I run cross country?" He'd always, like, plant the seed. And then eventually he explained, I sat down right here on this couch. He's like, "Well, so I've been telling you to run cross country because your throws towards like, when you're in the finals, you're throwing shorter and shorter and shorter." I'm like, "That's a good point." So if you run cross country, you're going to start to build that endurance level. So that's the reason, is to build the endurance for throwing. And he also said longer muscles you develop when you're running are stronger muscles. I'm like, okay, why not? So I came out for a preseason, I ran, and I loved it and hated it at the same time. And it was fun. I ended up getting shin splints, and they never went away towards the end of that season. But the results in the Bowdoin meet, phenomenal. I threw 12.5. My personal best before that was like 11.6. Granted, it was indoor, but at the same time, it just was a crazy PR for me personally. So I think it did help me build strength. And I was able to sustain above 12 meters the whole time. So running cross country actually helped build that endurance level for me. This season, although, has been very tough for me. I'm just now like starting to like get on to the swing of things, and it's been awesome. Like, was it Tuesday? We did the intervals.
Yeah. Well, I have class Tuesday, so I'm not at Tuesday practice.
Yeah. So Tuesdays, like, I did the full workout, and I was so happy.
Yeah. It's just more of a same like shin splints.
Yeah, it's just because my body just does not like running, but I've just been like, screw the pain, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I'm just at a point because I like running, and I really want to see the progress, especially for track season. I'm just gonna break down this wall, and I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. So
that's how I ran cross country.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yes.
And I guess you saw the results.
I did see the results.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks, Coach. Not really.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's go back to the track side of things here. Talk about last season a little bit. I know you were a captain.
I was.
The first time.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Do you have, like, you feel called as a leader? Like, is coaching something you would want to do further down the road?
Yes, absolutely. That's my major. My dad always told me and prayed over me, like, because he always saw the leader aspect in me. I personally never did. I just wasn't able to recognize that. But it's something that I think has been a gift given to me. So yeah, I would love to coach. I don't know where, but I want to be a strength coach.
Sure.
Being a captain, though, has been a blessing. Let me say that. I love the throwers. Shut up, throwers. Bomb squad. It's just an amazing experience, like, being able to be sort of like a role model for people. And, like, being able to be that person to be there for someone if they, need to talk about something or they need advice. I just love that stuff. But coaching, I don't know. I would love, ideally, my dream job is to be the head strength coach for, like, the Patriots, like a football team, more specifically the Patriots or the Celtics. I think that'd just be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because that's my passion.
We'll get into plenty of sports stuff in a bit here.
I'm sure you love the Patriots, huh?
You know, it's well.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Let me go in order here. I want to ask about when the lockdowns hit. So season gets suspended.
Right.
Basically with the entire rest of the sports world. How did you deal with that?
Terrible. I was so unmotivated and depressed because sports is my life. It's literally everything. Like I did not know what to do with myself. Even
what, just watching sports?
Watching sports is all I do. Like Sundays especially, I am red zone all day long. I mean, you saw probably at the pancake breakfast. I'm like, move, let me see. Yeah. But it was just because my life is so even with cross country and track, like I don't know what to do when I'm not at Gordon or I'm back home because I'm just so heavily involved in like the programs here. Sports is a huge part of my life, and I was depressed. I was demotivated. I didn't go to the gym. I wasn't running. I wasn't really involved in the Zoom meetings or Zoom core. I showed up a bunch of times. I don't know what it was. It was just a mental thing that I just couldn't get over. Since then, I'm fine now, but it's been such a blessing to be able to at least have inter-squad meets and being able to practice, because I don't know what a lot of people would do if we didn't have any of this.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous blessing for me to be able to have some semblance of a cross-country season.
Right.
Like, we're not competing against Endicott and other schools, but
I know.
It has been nice to still have the community.
Do you think we'll have a spring season?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it's like wintertime is like expected, but see, like cases going back up. I don't know. They got to look at I think people get so caught up in the case numbers because I think if you look, like, cases are skyrocketing, but I feel like hospitalizations are, they're going up as the cases go up, but like the graphs aren't like parallel.
Right.
And I think the mortality rate, at least so far, has, stayed with pretty much the same. Like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, don't get me wrong.
Not either.
But, I don't know if that's a sign that maybe it's becoming less lethal. But I know it's like for people who are at high risk, it's still a very serious thing. So that's, like what I was saying to you a little bit earlier before we came on. It's like I'm not worried about getting it myself.
Right.
I'm almost made peace with myself at some point. That's going to be inevitable. But my fear would be having it, being asymptomatic for a week and not realizing it.
Right.
And then realizing that, did I give it to somebody who was like, that's my fear.
Right.
Same. Like I'm confident that, where I am, I can probably recover and be all right in the long run. But, that's like that would be my worry with, like, if we were to do, and again, like, it's different for me because I'll be graduated, but like, speaking hypothetically, to have a spring season would be, I don't know.
I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Because you look at, like,
I think it's going to be, like, I don't know. I think it's easier for us than, like, obviously we don't have a football team, but like football or basketball and more contact sports like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like track and field and cross country, outside. Like, granted, we're not doing indoor track.
Like golf is like, I feel like there's basically social distancing built in to the sport. It's like,
really.
I don't feel like those guys should have much of a problem. Like, that's the thing. Like, everything is like, people are saying we got to open everything back up, and people saying, we got to shut everything down. It's like, I don't think it's an everything kind of thing. I think people have to look at individual regions and individual statistics and cases and numbers, and the thing in question that's like, can we do this? Can we not do this? And make our decisions from there.
Well, that's why we have individual governments at the state level.
Right.
That's why it's a beautiful system.
Yeah.
Because each state can make a decision on like very situational decision on their cases and what businesses to open at that time.
Sure.
So I think it is really a Massachusetts thing, if we can, because I know Northeast our cases spiked, in March, but we've been very good.
Well, the Northeast got, I say the Northeast. I think it was really just New York was the main epicenter. Yeah, but Massachusetts was still. I feel like it was up there.
Yes, it was.
But then Florida got it really bad. Arizona got it really bad. I feel like now it's kind of the Midwest is where, like the rural areas in the Midwest is like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw a graph, and they are just getting hammered.
Yeah.
Right now. There's actually, you see the thing about the flu shots?
Yeah.
If you get a flu shot, it's not peer reviewed yet, but they're just saying it.
Yeah.
It has the potential of decreasing your chance of getting it by 33%. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So get your flu shots, everyone.
Yeah, I don't know if I... Yeah, it's, everybody compares it to a flu, and I'm like, well, I guess we can make comparisons, but it's a coronavirus, right? It's not an influenza. But
right.
Like,
it's only compared...
And again, not a scientist, but I feel like if it's named two different things, there has to be some sort of difference there, right?
There has to be.
So,
I think there's the people are drawing the similarities with the symptoms.
Right.
And the fact that it's a virus.
Yeah, I guess that's...
Maybe we'll call all viruses flus.
Yeah.
What if they are? Where's Tibbles? We can call Tibbles.
Yeah.
He'll know.
So, now, I mean, again, who knows what else is going to happen. But ideally, fingers crossed, you have a track season left. And then it'll be your... Because you're a junior right now, right?
It'll be my second season.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, well, yeah. I mean, how many... I mean, I guess... Did the NCAA like redshirt all of our...
Yes.
So you have...
I have a fifth year option.
Is that something that's in your plans?
Yes, but at the same time...
Well, this is actually a nice segue, because, like, I want to get into your major, and I know your major was one of the ones that was most affected. But...
Yes, so this is tricky for me.
Yeah. So, like, what is your academic situation right now?
So, my professor, she is able to teach... I'm her last class, or, like...
Is this still Dr. Jin?
Yes.
Okay.
She is able to teach for as long as I'm here. I think. I don't know the exact limitations. So I think she has this year and next year with me. I can't stay another year to keep her. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So last year I had to take senior level classes because all the sophomores had to take senior level classes because this is the last time they were going to be offering them. So all the classes that I'm taking is the final time that are going to be offered at Gordon for my major. So if I were to take a fifth year, I would have to take something outside of my major, which I don't know what to do. Because I don't want to pay another, how much is it now? $33,000?
Yeah, I mean, they're cutting it, I think, but
yeah,
it's still a lot.
It sounds terrible. Just to run track or throw in track. I do and I don't.
Yeah.
That's the push and the pull currently. Do I pay? On top of that, I could be getting a minor in sports management because they did move my major to the what's it called? Business department, but it's completely restructured. It's a minor, not a major anymore, and it's called sports management. So I can get a minor in that, or I can take a semester off and just somehow make that work. Sure. But I was talking to Coach about this the other day. I have to figure this out with my advisor. Because I would love to.
If you need some electives, I recommend the Comm Arts classes.
So,
obviously I'm biased, but...
Hey, I'm all here for it. Come on. Do you know Josh Vanderbaan?
I know the name.
Are you comms major?
Right. Yeah, I am.
He's communications as well.
Okay. What year is he?
He's a junior.
Okay.
Very tall, Dutch, blonde, 6'5".
I might recognize him.
You probably would.
Yeah. It's so interesting because there were a couple people in my senior sem that I knew from core classes or I knew before, but didn't know very well and didn't know they were comm majors. Never had a class with them, and now we're in senior sem together. And I'm thinking to myself, how did we go this entire time without having a class? Because there are some people in my senior sem that I've had 5 classes with.
Really?
It's funny how it works out.
So that's the thing that's cool about my major. We are super tight. We're close. So the first freshman year, you were like forced to memorize everyone's name. She's like so good at building a culture, and every time I see one of my buddies from class, you say what's up, you'll grab lunch with them. So that's the thing I'm thankful for, that I know everyone in my major. Like, I can call and text anyone, because it's all about like sports is like, if you want to work in sports, it's all about building a network. You will go nowhere.
Yeah. Well, com's the same way.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's probably even tougher than sports.
There was an argument to be made that having a LinkedIn profile is more important than having a resume.
Absolutely.
In this department, just because everything, and especially now with the pandemic, everything is online.
Oh yeah.
It's like so much stuff. So,
that's
scary. If you can only have one, like, you'd probably honestly rather have the LinkedIn and have that serve as your resume.
I think we're going to see like a dramatic shift in the way people are hired.
Yeah.
Like, resumes are LinkedIn, like that is what LinkedIn is, right. But I think there will be like I don't know how, I'm no expert in this, obviously, but I think the way like people interview, I don't think there's going to be interviews to the extent that they are.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement. Right here, you hear it. What day is it today?
October 29th.
All right, no more interviews in 2 years because of coronavirus. Here we go.
Yeah.
Come on!
How did that happen? October 29th.
Yeah. It's insane. It is just flying.
Thanksgiving, 4 weeks from today.
Dude, I don't know.
That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it is. Life flies, man.
It really does.
Why'd you... Come on, man. Wow. That is incredible.
Crazy to think about. Yeah, but, so your major, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
It got cut. I am debating whether or not to do a fifth year.
Yeah. Well, but like, what does that look like now? Because, like, if...
What do you mean?
If it got cut, then, like, do you still have... Like, how do you feel your... Like, do the classes still exist? And, like, they're only... Like, you were kind of grandfathered in because the program was here when you were here?
Yes.
So,
that's literally it.
Like, your class will be the last...
Yes. It's the last ever. And I'm thankful because Dr. Jin is... She... Like, you can't even, like, have words to describe how of an amazing person she is. Because, like, you would expect a professor who just got, like, cut to just, like, run off and be salty and not want to teach and just take the money and leave. But she, like, is actively teaching us and engaging and challenging us. And that is just... That says a lot about someone's character. And I'm very thankful for that because I probably would have been gone by now if it weren't for her or track or Wikerd and the team. That's really the only thing keeping me here. Like, I would have been gone if I were never in that booth with Wikerd and I would have never taken, or if I had never taken that major. I would probably be, I don't know where. I think I'm destined to be here. I think that's something that, looking back on that Bell story and just feeling that this is a place, it's just crazy how it just has come along. It just feels right. Yeah,
so, well, you mentioned sports are a big part of your life.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a local
Boston sport fan.
Woo-hoo!
We've talked about this over Instagram.
Yeah. So, going back to what I was going to say, like, it's easier for me to do Red Sox and even Patriots, even though the Eagles and Patriots have met in the Super Bowl twice. It's easier for me to do those, like, if there's a situation where I'm watching a game with my friends, like, I can root with them. It's like, it's easier for me to do that than it is Celtics Bruins. Because, like, I respect the rivalry, and, like, dare I say it, I probably would even root for the Celtics over the Knicks. Just because...
You better.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Philly, New York, generally speaking, is bigger than Philly, Boston. You know, you have the Eagles and the Giants and everything.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. I mean, and just, like, out of respect for the rivalry. Like, but, you know, it's just because of the way the divisions line up. You know, those are a lot tougher.
Oh, yeah. I would say the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry is... There's no rivalry that will compare to that. Because you go into Fenway Park with baseball fans, if you wear like an opponent's or a rival's jersey, they will tear you apart. Like you will die. You'll be heckled. Like there is no like if you go into Fenway Park with a Yankees uniform, you will die. Like someone will kill you. Like it is. I remember even one of my new throwers, freshman throwers, came in to Bennett with a Yankees jersey on, and I'm like, oh, come on, you cannot wear that in a Boston town. Like it's just not acceptable. Anything else I'm fine with. The only thing that bugs me a little bit is the Giants.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I would bring up. I'd ask about the Jets because that's the actual division rival, but there's not much of a rivalry there.
They just gotta burn the ship. Yeah. They gotta sell their whole franchise. You know Gary Vernunchuk?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. He needs to buy it anyways.
Yeah.
What a dumpster. Why would you drop Le'Veon Bell? He's the best running back.
They have done everything but fire Adam Gase.
Oh. You know what? Let's just drop the best running back in the entire league for nothing. That sound great? Like how stupid are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's all this talk about tanking for Trevor, but now because in September Trevor Lawrence was like, you know what, this is it. I'm graduating in December. Like
Don't do it, man. Don't do it, Trevor. The Patriots need a tank for him.
You think so? You don't trust Cam Newton?
I really like him. We're giving him a chance. I just think there's just not enough options for him. Like, our best receiver is Edelman. I mean, he's a fantastic receiver. But at the same time, like, there are not enough pieces for Cam to perform. Look at Tom Brady down in Tampa.
Antonio Brown now.
So that team is looking...
I don't know if there's, like, PTSD from... last year here, but
see the thing with that team last year, we were so set. We had Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown.
I remember it was like one of the best offenses.
Demaryius Thomas, Gronk. Do we not have Gronk? No.
No, yeah, Gronk had just retired.
Yeah,
but still, it was like, and I think they did go like 8-0 to start the year or something, right? Like,
yeah.
I was telling people in September, it's like, oh, congratulations on Super Bowl 54.
I don't know what happened. I would have not fired Antonio Brown personally if I was Robert Kraft, but he would have been suspended anyways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I just couldn't believe about. Because, like when they signed Brady, Bruce Arians was like, yeah, never in a million years. But
Brady wants him.
Yeah, like I said.
It's Antonio Brown.
Yeah. I've said this on a couple of recent shows, I think. But I thought to myself, like, if Bill Belichick can't even handle Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Like, how could anybody else?
Bruce!
I guess we'll find out.
I guess so. I really think so. There's 3 stages to his life currently. There's his time in Pittsburgh, and then it's just started like dropping, like as a midlife crisis, and that just was a dumpster fire. Like that's an insult to a dumpster and a fire. But it was just pure hell for him.
I assume you've seen the video of like when he found out the Raiders had dropped him.
Oh, in his house?
Free!
Yeah.
Free!
Yeah, like it's like Kanye, like now. Like Kanye, or a few months ago, he was just going crazy. Yeah. Like, what is happening? And now I hope that he has transitioned into another stage of his life where he is accepted. Yeah. I think he was hurting deep down. I think there's other things that we obviously don't see. But hopefully, we'll see. He's a fantastic player. I love fantastic players, and I would love to see him succeed. So,
I don't know. Man, Kanye too. Maybe he'll shock the world next Tuesday.
He's probably gonna get a few million.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude.
He's only on the ballot in 12 states. He's got write-in access in a bunch more, but he's only on the ballot in 12 states.
I think he'll get over 1 million.
Yeah.
100%. I know a few of my friends that are gonna vote for him.
Oh man.
Let's not go down this road.
Not get into politics here too much, but yeah. He was a write-in in Delaware.
Really?
He wasn't on the ballot. It's like a ballot because they have a list of because you can write in Mickey Mouse, right? Like
I'm gonna vote for myself.
Yeah. I mean they'll just throw those out, but like legit candidates that have a campaign, like you didn't qualify for the ballot, but if you write them in, we'll count it. So that was Kanye in Delaware for me, but
yeah.
But yeah, back to Antonio Brown. I don't know.
He'll do fine. That team's gonna win. I have a feeling.
You think?
Listen.
Max Kellerman had to go on First Take.
Oh, don't get me started about Max. I don't want to hear anything about Max.
I was wrong.
Yes, he always says that. That is his famous words. I was wrong. Same with what's his name?
Skip Bayless.
Yeah. Skip and Kellerman. Oh, I hate those two guys. I know I dislike them. Do not hate.
You know who I miss? I miss Will Kane.
Who?
Will Kane.
Who is that?
You watched First Take, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a period where he was on almost every day for like 15.
Really?
Will Kane was a political commentator. Started out at the Blaze briefly with CNN, and then he came to ESPN to talk sports.
With Stephen A?
Well, he was. I still remember like Skip Bayless's last week. Like I think Max hadn't been announced as a replacement yet, and so they brought that was the first time I'd seen Will Kane. I guess he'd been with ESPN for like a year before.
I've heard his last name.
Yeah.
Kane.
Well,
I think.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of people thought Will Kane was just Skip Bayless 2.0 as well, but he watching him and Stephen A go at it was like 10 times as entertaining as Stephen A and Max. Like I'm serious. Like go on YouTube, just like watch Will Kane versus Stephen A. Smith. Like,
okay, I'll look it up.
Yeah,
Max is he's like
it's particularly about the Cowboys because Will Kane's from Texas, so he's a big Cowboys fan.
Oh,
but,
how about them Cowboys?
Yeah,
yeah, they. Ooh.
Yeah, but do you think the Bucks are looking good?
I am. Since the Patriots, I don't even want to talk. There's so many things we could talk about the Patriots right now. Like we can go on for hours and hours and hours. I just think this is not the Patriots' year. Belichick needs more things to work with. That's ultimate. I'm
surprised though, man. I thought the Patriots would rebound first.
Well, the problem is
then in terms of Tom Brady adapting to the Bucks, I thought. Because you still have Belichick. Yeah, Cam Newton's going to be a competent quarterback.
He is. Again, look, we got 13 of our players opted out. That is the most in the league. Yeah. That's ridiculous. 13 key players. So that's why there's going to be a huge asterisk next to the season.
That's us right now with the injuries. It's
I know.
Yeah.
You got a great quarterback, both of us.
Well,
but Carson Wentz, come on, he's a great guy. He's a great quarterback.
He's a good quarterback for sure.
I think he's a great quarterback.
He's great when he's on
the run.
Yeah. Well, before he tore he was going to win MVP, I think.
Absolutely.
Before he tore the ACL.
100%.
Yeah. But it's I don't know. Who's this is the thing when we talk about quarterbacks, man. Their legacy. So Carson Wentz has a ring, but does he really have a ring?
Yes. He got the Eagles to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And Jimmy Garoppolo the same way. When Brady got suspended.
Although.
And so last year, Garoppolo's going for his third ring. Is it really his third ring?
He has one.
You think he just has one?
Yeah. But I think Nick Foles deserves that ring more than Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Talk about the greatest backup quarterback of all time. Look what he's doing with the Bears now.
Yeah. Well, I can't, the man has had the strangest career in NFL history. This guy, gets drafted, in the middle of a draft, and, Michael Vick's backup, Vick gets hurt, and then Foles just goes, the greatest, half season ever, 27-2. And, the Eagles are a mediocre team, so they lose in the first round, and then he comes back, because Vick's gone, and he, the starting job is now his, and, how could it not be?
Right. Exactly.
And then he plays well, but it's not as brilliant as he was, and he's a little injury prone.
Yes.
And then Chip Kelly decides, apparently Sam Bradford wasn't injury prone, so we'll make the direct. Goes to, I guess they're still St. Louis at the time.
Right.
Gets benched, almost retires, comes back with Andy Reid in Kansas City, totally revives his career, and then the Eagles sign him as insurance, Carson's a quarterback in the future, right? It's just,
right.
It's a favor, right? We're not going to need Nick Foles.
No, never. Why would you would never need it?
And then at the end of the season, he's Super Bowl MVP. And then he loses the starting job again when Carson Wentz comes back, and Carson gets hurt again, and Foles comes in again, leads them back to the playoffs, and they really were one drive away from being back in the conference championship game.
Yeah.
And it's what a civil war that would have been in Philadelphia. If it was a civil war. Like you had Team Foles and Team Wentz, and
Philly always burns their own city down.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like the night before the Super Bowl, I was like, they might win or they might lose to the Patriots, but the city will be on fire either way.
Either way, your city's on fire.
Yeah.
You can.
They got it. Yeah, got to grease the poles again, and
even though it never works.
Yeah,
it never works.
Yeah.
And
then some guy ate. He was eating horse
crap.
Yeah,
nice
horse crap. Just I don't understand.
This is why I don't like Philly fans, Schneider.
Yeah. I don't like Philly fans either, and I am one.
Okay.
Yeah, I just we spend more time I'm trying to think of examples.
Let me hear it.
Angelo Cataldi, WIP, was just going off about Tony Romo's
Oh, I love Tony Romo.
Yeah, when he went into the booth.
What a guy! Oh my God! As a college major and as an aspiring announcer.
Holy cow! I didn't think he was going to be bad by any means. I thought he'd do all right, but I mean, that guy is
fantastic.
Yeah. The AFC Championship game. Oh. Your Patriots and the Chiefs.
He called every play.
Yeah, he really did.
It is so nice to watch a game when he is calling it because he will dive into the sport and explain to you why things are happening. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I think, generally speaking, I think I would say I like NBC's overall sports coverage the best. I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but I think...
Well, it's a lot better than Fox.
Their pool of talent... Well, yeah, I mean,
Joe
Fox...
Buck? Oh!
Can I just rant about the 08 World Series real quick?
Oh, let me hear it.
So, Joe Buck has had... I would say, last out of the 2016 World Series was a good call. The James White touchdown in overtime, Super Bowl 51, that was a good call.
Uh-huh.
And,
Well, can I interrupt you? Remember when, was it Randy Moss? That is an atrocious act. I'm
disgusting act.
Disgusting act. Yeah. How terrible. And I was just what is happening?
I didn't realize until I was older that Fox, Joe Buck, Chris Collinsworth used to be. I was I'm glad that was before my time.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, but I was gonna say the other one was 2011 World Series, because his father Jack Buck had the "We'll see you tomorrow night."
Into deep left center from Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
When he had the chance to bring that back,
Breeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
That was special. That was cool. But 2008, man, I remember, it's game one, and I think it was Chase Utley.
I do not remember.
Home run, and he's just oh, it's a high fly ball into right field at the track, at the wall. It's monotone. It's a good start for the Phillies.
Utley rips one into right field at the track, at the wall. It's a good start for the Phillies.
And then it's I forget if it was game 3 or 4, but I think they were back in Philadelphia. And I think Utley and Howard hit back-to-back home runs. And on the first one, he's here's a deep ball. Oh, don't worry about the wind.
This ball is rocketing into right. Don't worry about the wind. 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah, it's just how...
And then Howard comes up and he's now he launches one to right. Back-to-back.
Now he launches one to right. Back-to-back.
Dead silence.
I've seen a ton of compilations of it, of him announcing.
Mitchell with the Eagles.
Mitchell. Down to the 25.
Yo.
Mitchell. Down to the 25.
Yeah, it's just what? Mitchell.
Yeah.
Pause. Mitchell. Down at the 25. It's just are you there, buddy? Are you cutting out?
Yeah. Oh, and the PTSD warning. As a Pats fan, but the David Tyree catch was like. I hate to bring it up, but we're talking about
every Pats fan.
Yeah.
I gotta go cry. Oh, there's always that one catch, right?
Yeah.
In every sports game. You had the Edelman catch.
Right. The Falcons, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Crucial.
Unbelievable.
But when he made, like, perfect season on the line, and Tyree, like, I don't, to this day, I have no idea how he caught that football. And it's like, pass it in the air down the field. It is caught by Tyree.
Manning stays on his feet. Airs it out down the field. It is caught by Tyree.
So, funny story about that. I was at church watching that game. And I remember my dad sending me out because all the church guys, they're watching it in the sanctuary. And they're just like, all right, time to leave, son. Because I think some vulgar words were about to be spewed out.
Yeah.
I think when was that? 2007? 8? I don't remember.
It was the 07 season, but it was February of 08.
Yeah, and I just remember that it's just hilarious because we were in a church and my dad's like, all right, son, time to go, because he knew.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl. Oh, the Giants just know how to beat the Pats.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah. I can go back to the commentators. Like, I think like NBC's general talent. Like they're cool.
They have
Mike Tirico now. Like,
are we talking about specifically football?
I'm talking like across the board. It's like Dan Patrick had his, like, they simulcast his show for a while.
You know,
Bob Costas.
I love the way NBC handles sports.
Yeah,
because they have
Doc Emmerich. They just retired, but like
yes, exactly. They have fantastic announcers and they have fantastic stations. Like they have the Philly NBC Philly probably.
Right.
NBC Boston's like my favorite channel.
Yeah.
Like you got all of my favorite guys and girls on that show, and it's like analysis, and I love it, especially for Celtics. Yeah. They do a fantastic job. They just hired Perkins, the big
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins. Yeah. He's always on there after Celtics games, giving his hot takes.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've seen some of them.
Yeah, I've seen some of them on First Take.
Oh,
yeah,
he is so bold. He makes some bold predictions.
Yeah. Do you know Lee Diffie?
No.
Motorsports, Australian guy.
No. Is he a racer?
He commentates. Okay. He does the IndyCar stuff. He does the Indy 500 now, but NBC's got that. But yeah, he is like my favorite play-by-play. Like he's done golf before. Like NBC uses him for the Olympics. Like they had him doing rowing. They had him doing
just like Fox uses Joe Buck.
Yeah, except he's actually good.
Oh, okay. So like a good Joe Buck.
Yes. Well, except no, because I don't know. The point is, like, I feel like NBC is very dedicated, and they have a real good.
Yes.
Generally speaking, like Al Michaels, a legend, 100% obviously.
Agree.
Like it just keep going on and on.
Right.
But in terms of football, like I think you get Jim Nantz and Tony Romo calling a game.
So good.
Yeah, it's like Jim Nantz is a legend as well. It's like,
who has Booger?
ESPN, I think.
Okay, ESPN does a terrible job sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
No, okay. I'm thinking of, like you said, Booger, right?
Booger, yeah.
Think of like Boomer is CBS, but
Booger McFarlane.
Yeah. You seen like all the memes that came out of Monday Night Football?
He is a meme.
Yeah.
Isn't there a game tonight? Who's playing?
Thursday night? Yeah, I don't.
Let me look that up.
Fox has the Thursday night games though these days, right? I think.
I don't know.
ESPN's Monday night.
Let me see. Yes. No. Yeah. NFL Network has. I don't know.
They had them for a while. I feel like they've been putting more Thursday night games on Network. I feel like CBS had some for a little while, but.
The Falcons at the Panthers. That doesn't say where.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just says, NFL Network, Fox Broadcasting, NBC. Wonderful. Everyone's.
Yeah. So, there was a play like the Seahawks Vikings last year on Monday Night Football, and I think Russell Westbrook threw it, and like it got tipped back to him. And, like Wilson. Sorry.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Too many Russells. Russell Wilson. Sorry. Good catch, sir. Like he throws the football and I think like it got deflected back to him, and then he like tipped it back up in the air and it was very. Like,
was that Pat Mahomes that happened to?
It might have happened to him in another.
It might have been.
This was like
different.
A specific Monday night game. I remember, and he's like it was a very like fluky kind of play, and the Vikings return it for a defensive touchdown.
Okay.
And Booger's just sitting there like, well, these are the type of plays that historically have gone against the Vikings. Like the Minneapolis Miracle.
These are the type of plays that historically have gone against the Vikings. The Minneapolis Miracle. Plays that are fluke plays that went against this team.
Oh.
He said, like, plays have gone against the Vikings. The Minneapolis Miracle went against the...
My man does
wait
not.
Wait a second.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You're saying, that man, just like Joe Buck, just get rid of him.
Yeah.
Just go do something else. This is not your talent. Yeah. You need to leave.
Yeah.
Have you? Okay. Every year I pick a team to support outside of
Boston.
Outside of Boston.
I have a couple teams outside of Philadelphia that
For me this year, it's been the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
And the Bucks, obviously.
Okay.
For football.
Yeah. I mean, like, I will root for the Bears right now because of Nick Foles.
Yeah.
And
if
I had to pick, like, there's not really a Eagles-Ravens rivalry. Like, those teams only play each other once every 4 years, so it's like...
That seems good.
Like, if I had to pick an adopted AFC team, like, before I got here, like, now I would maybe even say the Patriots. But, you know, I was all the way with the Ravens in Super Bowl 47.
Really?
Yeah. Well, and especially because, like, it's not even just the proximity to Baltimore. Because, like, the Baltimore market kind of bleeds into Philadelphia, or into Delaware a little bit, but it's mostly Philadelphia. But Joe Flacco, their quarterback, went to University of Delaware. So that was always a nice connection.
I bet.
For me as a Delawarean to see him go on to win a Super Bowl with Baltimore. But yeah.
He's an elite quarterback.
Yeah, well, he's a Super Bowl champion.
Oh.
But
where does he play for now?
Is it the Jets?
Yes. It is the Jets, because he was starting the other day over...
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't even keep track of what's going on with the Jets anymore. But
the Jets.
Yeah.
What a terrible team. How about Kyler Murray, though?
Yeah.
Isn't he fantastic?
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite players out there right now.
Yeah.
Every time he runs, do you ever watch SpongeBob?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of SpongeBob.
You know how Mr. Krabs runs?
Yeah.
That is Kyler Murray. We play that sound every time he runs in my room. It's hilarious. I love it. He's a fantastic football player, though. I would say he's better than Lamar.
Really?
Yes, way better. He's got an arm. Lamar obviously is faster than him.
Sure.
But I think I would compare...
Well, Daniel Jones is faster than Lamar.
That's true. Do we need to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, man. We talked about it. We just had Zach Smith on here. We talked about that. That was still like fresh in our minds. But
that was against his Cowboys, wasn't it?
Against us.
It was against Philly?
Yeah.
That's right. I was texting Wikerd
Nobody
about it.
deserved to win that game.
No.
Like, it was so...
Tibbles was saying...
I have no idea how the Eagles won that game. But
Tibbles was saying, I don't know how... Like, I've never thought... He said, I never thought I would see, like, a football game where no offense and no defense was played.
Yeah.
Like, that is so true.
So bad.
That it was... Oh. It was bad. That was a very bad game. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
At least you won by 1 point.
I don't even care anymore.
I'm at that point.
Whoever wins that division is going to lose in their home playoff game. It is an absolute joke that this team really could go 6-9-1 and win the division. Like,
so you got the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Vikings.
No, Vikings are the North.
Wait, okay.
But the North is it's Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions. So it's Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, and
that's right,
the Washington football team.
Oh, okay, the Redskins.
Yeah.
What are they gonna? They're gonna keep that name.
I mean, here's the thing. Like everything going on in this country right now, and again, I don't want to get too much into that stuff, but like, you want to change the name, go ahead, be my
Yes.
guest. I do not care. But the football team, like, you could, like, go, like, be the Washington Tigers. Be the
anything.
Be, like, pick an animal. Pick a thing. Like, any object whatsoever out there. It's like, the Washington football team.
All right. Do you watch Red Zone? Actually, you should. Hansen. Talk about an announcer, like a play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We kind of worship him in our room. He's just you have to. Have you heard him before? It's his name, not Chris Hansen. That's the Catch a Predator guy. Scott Hansen.
Scott Hansen.
I highly recommend.
The only time I have like the most basic. I have Xfinity on campus, but like, I
just
never
gotta pirate it.
got into. Yeah.
We'll cut that out.
Well, we won't cut it out. I won't do it.
No, that's fair.
But
yeah, watch some of his because are you familiar with Red Zone?
Yeah, well, like the last two pancake.
Right. He's the guy calling it, and he is calling. His reactions are just so pure and awesome. His voice is great. The way he does things is unbelievable. What were we talking about before? Because I had something related to Red Zone.
The NFC East.
No, I forgot. All right.
Oh, that's all right. Daniel Jones, maybe.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
But he is just you. I would highly recommend you watch like a video or a highlight reel of the way he just. It's just.
Yeah.
We have now entered the witching hour. It is every time the team, it's like the 3:00 window, 3:30 window, like when every team's in the fourth quarter. He says that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
You should.
Yeah.
I'll send you a link.
Sure. Yeah, please do. Do you pick? I guess is football your main sport? Like, do you have like basketball and baseball teams you adopt mid-season depending on?
It would go football and basketball. Probably basketball first because I know a lot more about basketball players than football.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's easier to follow basketball just because the rosters are a little bit smaller and there's not as much turnover.
Yeah, exactly. But, I this season was crushing for me in the Celtics because I watched every single. I didn't miss one game. I attended 5 games, I think, in person. I'm a huge Celtics fan. Like, I'm diehard. Want to be a season ticket holder. I want to work for them.
That couldn't have been too crushing. You had a first round bye in the playoffs.
Listen, man. I just wanted to go. Only thing I wanted this year was to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Especially after last year and Kyrie just throwing the towel. That just I cannot wait till Kyrie comes back to Boston and plays because he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he. I just want to hear the decibels.
Like LeBron back in Cleveland and.
Oh, worse.
You think it's
worse? It is going to be terrible. Him and Kyrie, he cannot walk in Boston. Like he will. Like, it's just the consensus.
Sure.
Everyone is against Kyrie now, just because. I'm trying to let's compare it to track or cross country. No, let's do track in a relay. It'd be like you're on a relay with me. It's you. It's Tibbs and Backert. Say.
Yeah.
It'd be like just me completely giving up and just walking around the track in the last leg in a very tight conference championship. It's like what? It's just like
that bad.
Yeah. Were you watching any of those games?
I mean, I sort of following a little bit. But...
Yeah, it's that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeah, that's really all I got for him.
Yeah.
I will buy a ticket to that game. I don't care how much money it is. I just want to boo him in person. And if he doesn't play it, because he has not played in TD Garden since.
Sure.
He has been sick every single time. I just want to hear. Okay.
Well, at least Boston had a coach for the last couple of seasons.
Brett Brown's awesome. I don't think you got much more with Doc Rivers here. Did you just see you guys hired a new GM? No.
Daryl Morey, I don't
of OKC.
Okay, so are you talking the assistant coach or
who was I seeing this from?
Because Morey was with the Rockets. That's a big pickup that just happened in the last couple of days.
Yeah, someone who's drafted Russ and Kevin Durant.
I have to look into that.
And James Harden.
Yeah.
Remember that team on OKC?
Yeah. How did that team not win a championship again?
My roommate's an OKC fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love mentioning the fact that he had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden on the same team.
Yeah.
Along with Steven Adams.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable team.
Yeah. Yeah, really is.
Okay.
But, dude, Brett Brown should have been gone last year.
He should have been gone 3 years ago.
Well, I don't, people bring up his record, and, to be completely fair, going 10-72 was not all that. He had no players, right?
Okay, so what
he had Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor.
Okay, that's fair. That's pretty fair. That was a hot take.
Yeah.
But yeah, he should have been gone at least a year ago.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I am not The Athletic has been showing these new commercials where it's they show Kawhi's shot last year.
That was such a nice shot.
That dude got lucky.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Well, no, I shouldn't say that. It was a good shot. It was not a.
It was a once in a lifetime shot.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
You could not repeat that bouncing off the if
one of the greatest.
I don't it doesn't make me mad. What makes me mad is that they blew a lead to get to that point.
Yes.
And the thing about this team is Kawhi misses that shot. They're in Toronto. They lose anyway.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler says, "Oh yeah, I have no doubt we would have won if it had gone to over." Are you kidding me? All the momentum was with Toronto.
How crazy that Jimmy Butler leaves Philly and leads his team to a finals appearance.
That was so. I don't know how
crazy
much,
is that?
I don't know how much truth there is to this, but I've heard that Brett Brown and Jimmy Butler did not really get along.
I've heard this too.
And that was they kept Brett Brown, and that was part of what pushed Jimmy Butler out.
Yes.
It's I would love to know. I don't know who you get if you fire Brett Brown last year, but if you don't lose Jimmy, because I think it's hard to. I think this Sixers team was inferior too.
Last year.
I think they lost.
Well, you lost JJ Redick too.
Yeah, all the shooters, because Redick was gone. So you brought on on paper Al Horford and Tobias Harris. It looks good.
I was scared initially.
Yeah,
I was terrified.
Yeah,
that is Tobias Harris. That starting five is just massive.
Yeah, who was it? It was
Ben
Simmons, Harris, Embiid, Horford, and who else do they have on that team?
Why are we forgetting someone?
Wasn't Redick or Butler, right? Because they're both gone.
Yeah, what?
I don't know. My memory's too fogged up.
Yes. Now you got me thinking about this. Because it was...
somebody else.
It was Simmons and Tobias Harris. That's 1 and 2. And then 4 or 5 were Horford and Embiid.
Right.
Why? It's going to be someone so... Why are we blanking on this?
I don't know. I gotta pull it up now.
But what are you going to... I'm a big believer in all the... A bunch of talent isn't necessarily going to give you a ring. It's the chemistry that comes along with it.
Well, and the thing was, they were, when the season was suspended, they were 29-2 at home. They were on pace for one of the best home seasons ever. But they were they only won a third of their games on the road.
Yeah.
And so it evens out.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so then you go into the bubble, and you're not,
so
they could put a Sixers logo on the court and have virtual fans.
It wasn't there, actually.
It was not the same.
It was projected via the effects.
Right. Yeah. So when you're there, it doesn't even.
So how much do you think that the bubble affected wins and losses, opposed to being home? That's that's my major. Yeah. I'm a sports psychologist, so I'm not analyzing that. How much does crowd and home feel and.
I don't know, man. That's tough because everybody's in the same. I don't feel like it was. People. I think people just don't like LeBron. People.
No.
Trying to give it an asterisk. I think if anything, to be in the bubble for 3 months. It's
that too.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Total. It was so funny because, the ads after the Super Bowl was So they put this meme up that said like, "Hey, Los Angeles Lakers, you just won the NBA championship. What are you going to do next?" And it says, "We're getting the hell out of Disney World."
You're right. Yeah. I was thinking of that too. Like, what are they gonna? They're gonna go to Disney World?
Yeah.
Wait, Disneyland?
Yeah.
That's
Been
funny.
in Disney World for the last
3 months. Get me out of here. Did you find it?
Who was the starter? I don't.
Ben, come on. Let's see.
Forget like.
Sixers. I'll know when I see it.
Obviously.
Starting lineup.
Embiid, Harris. It was Furkan Korkmaz wasn't a starter, was he?
No.
Norvell, yeah. Josh Richardson.
He's a fantastic shooter.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know who it was off the top of my head. Like, what was that?
Did you see Antetokounmpo won a ring before his older brother?
Yeah.
What's his first name?
I don't. Well, there's three because like.
Yes.
So the G League team for the Sixers is it's now the Delaware Bluecoats. They were the Delaware 87ers. I remember that like their first season was Costas. That's right. But Thanasis was played in Delaware for a year.
Really?
Yeah. It's like I saw him play
in like a G League team.
Yeah, for the Sixers G League team.
Wow.
And
you want all their DNA?
Yeah.
You want any?
Well, the year. This was the thing. Like the year after he played in Delaware, he was like drafted late in the second round by the Knicks, and then he went to the Knicks. The Knicks G League team is Westchester Knicks.
I'll just leave.
And it's like,
I'll just leave.
Well, there was a point in the year where I think Giannis was just like, "Call up my brother already, you losers."
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
I think those were his exact words. Like, because the Knicks said like, Phil Jackson was.
The Knicks better be hiring high school varsity athletes.
Yeah.
That's what they are right now. How about the G League, though? What a fantastic... That is the best minor league in all of professional sports, in my opinion. They develop
even
players.
Baseball, you think?
That's tough, actually. I think they improve. I can't compare the two because it's two different things.
I mean, you gotta like... You got to go to a minor league baseball game. Like you
I've been to a lot.
Have the experience of being there. Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah, but it's just like the farm system is so.
I think
there's no other pro sport where the process is like that. But
I think do you know about the Red Sox farm team, the Paw Sox? They're moving to Worcester.
Yeah,
and they're building a huge stadium in Worcester. So I think that'll be awesome for all the colleges. All the college students are going to go watch those games.
Sure.
Because I cannot wait because it's going to be done hopefully next year, and I hope we can have fans.
Yeah, that'd be cool. What do you think of? I know you said basketball and football mostly.
Right.
I know you're a Red Sox fan though,
yes.
So I gotta imagine you follow baseball a little bit. Like, what do you think of Rob Manfred?
Oh, I hate him. Oh, see, it's
Did you watch the other night, Game 6?
No, I see.
Like They booed him when he was given the World Series trophy out, like worse than Goodell on draft night. I loved it. It was.
Oh, dude, I don't really have an opinion on him.
Yeah.
I just hear bad things.
Yeah.
Okay, him or Goodell? Which one would you choose?
Goodell, no question.
Really?
Yeah. Like I'm not even a big Adam Silver fan. But
wow,
I think
really.
Yeah, I don't know.
He scares me.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is the best commissioner in pro sports right now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but I hear all of it, like...
Yeah, Manfred is...
talking about the All-Star game, he was like, I don't know, maybe there's a 4-point shot, maybe there's a 10-point shot from beyond half court in the last minute. Like, they're trying to figure out how to spice up the All-Star game. And
I like that because he has like an open interpretation. He's willing to move things forward.
Yeah, that's fair.
As opposed to Manfred, who just added a pitch clock.
I think that's coming in 22. I think they want to.
It already is. They already have one.
In the minors, maybe.
No, in the majors.
No, I don't think there's a pitch.
I went to a Red Sox game like last year and I saw one. Maybe they weren't like enforcing it.
I have to double check that. I don't.
But I
know they've been talking about it, but I don't think it's a thing yet. But I think it's coming. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this with Coach and Andrea about because they hate baseball. And I was explaining
Coach had a Phillies hat on the night Liam was born and won the World Series.
I think no, actually he liked it up until when they struck in the 90s.
94?
Yeah.
I can see
91
that.
maybe, I think.
It was 94.
94?
I mean, because the Expos were like they had never won a World Series, and like
right,
they were having the best season ever, and then the season just ended.
So, yeah, he was the second person to tell me that. Like that they liked a certain sport up until like they struck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the thing now, is like, you know, it's not even just the pitch clock. It's, I mean, people say what you will about the DH. Like, I liked that it was what?
I was a DH.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I liked that it was how it was with the AL and NL. Because, like, it was so cool to me watching, like, in the World Series every year, you get...
Right.
Like, I remember as a kid watching the Yankees and Phillies in 2009, and I've got family from New York, so that was like a civil war in our family.
I
like,
bet.
Yeah. Yeah. I always, like, make that joke when I'm around family, where, like, they joke with me, it's like, how many rings do you have? And I'm like, 2, and they're, oh, how cute. And it's
adorable.
Standing back with our 27. It's like...
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I don't know.
But I think with baseball, what they have to do is find... Because originally the game was made to be just to relax and watch. Right. And, you know, to watch, you're just there to have a conversation with someone. Yeah. In the background is the game. That's why I love baseball.
Yeah.
It's just so nostalgic, but at the same time, it needs to be a little more fast-paced.
Right.
I think the pitch clock is not a way to do it, though. Yeah.
Well, it's like they start these World Series games at 8 o'clock, and, like, they don't end until just before midnight.
Remember, like, what was it, 2 years ago? My freshman year, so your sophomore year.
Yeah.
When the Red Sox were in it.
How many innings did that game go?
Remember this game I'm talking about?
No, I tapped out.
I was playing Xbox with my friend.
Yeah.
Starting at 8 o'clock, was it? And we were watching it together as we were playing like Call of Duty.
I still remember. I guess the Dodgers won that game, right?
I don't remember.
Because I remember Liam Carroll. I was watching his social media stories, and it was like almost 4 a.m. and he was just like, "I'm not even mad that they lost. I just want to go to bed."
Yes,
it's like
yes. It was. I remember we were at the end. We just like we played like 100 games of Call of Duty, waiting for the game to end, and we're just like sitting there with our faces just blank, and we're like, we lost. we sat up till 3 a.m. Like,
yeah. Well, but I
like that though.
There needs to be. There has to be a way to do it without like you know, this intentional walk rule. I mean, it's like because you can go on YouTube and like search like intentional walks gone wrong, because like it's hard for some pitchers.
It's a loophole really in the rules.
Yeah. Well, it's like you throw like some pitchers have a hard time, like it's totally not. It's like a foreign concept to them, and so there are times where like you have a wild pitch, and then like base runners advance, or you don't get the ball out far enough. The guy says, you know, the heck with it, and swings and gets a base hit or home
Big Poppy did that.
Yeah.
But
now it's just like, oh, you're gonna walk. Okay, go down to first. We gotta keep the game like.
So the thing with that, I'm with you and I ain't, because it was a loophole in the rules if you think of it. Like you just want to intentionally walk them. So I mean, I guess it's a way of them amending that, but at the same time, you want imperfections, because I think that makes things unique. Yeah. And that's the same. You can bring in the argument of like robot referees.
Yeah. No,
like, would the game be the same?
No. Because I mean, I have a very love-hate relationship. Like, do you remember when Galarraga lost the perfect game in 2010? I think.
Who played for?
The Tigers.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I've probably seen highlights.
This guy was like a career journeyman, and like I don't even know how much longer he lasted at. But this was like the best pitching the game of his life, and Jim Joyce is calling at first base, and like the last out of a game, I mean, he is clearly out, and Jim Joyce is like,
I've probably seen this.
Yeah, and like both men handled it incredibly well, because I mean it was a very difficult situation for both of them. But I was like, yo, if you had instant replay back then, like that's when I want it. You know, like clearly out. You cost the kid a perfect game. It's like,
was he home?
I don't remember.
There's always the home team always gets the benefit of the doubt.
Well, the thing is, like that was such a weird time, because Roy Halladay threw his perfect game was like 4 days before.
Okay.
Like, so the fact that there would have been And, like, Dallas Braden's was 20 days before that. So there could have been 3 perfect games in, like, the span of a month, which would have been insane. But I remember, because the late Roy Halladay was in Miami. I guess they were the Florida Marlins still at the time. But
right.
They came back, like, the next time the Phillies and Marlins played each other, like, they gave him, like, a fishing pole and, like, some sort of bass fish, like, something like that, like, because it happened in Miami. And, like, Chevy, I don't know if it was Chevy or not, but, like,
probably
somebody gave Galarraga a perfect, like, a car, like, legit car for his one-hit so-called perfect game. So, like, I still remember SportsCenter, like, they had the graphic of it's like, okay, perfect game gets you a fishing rod, one hitter gets you... Yeah, but drawing it all back, like, you know, because they even asked, like, Bud Selig if he would, of course, the commissioner of the time, and man, I miss that guy. Like, think about Manfred, but he said they talked about overturning it.
Really?
And
he
said he wasn't going to do it.
Really? So that all comes into, like...
Well, but because, like, what happened, and, like, you had a batter that, like, had an at-bat right after that, and, like, registers and that, like, it changes the stat. Like, you can't rewrite, like, it was a bad call, but, like, what happened. So, I understand the logic, but, like, you know, selfish. Like, if I lost an honorary game, one. Yeah. I mean, it was just a tough deal. But nowadays, it's like, there's the rule about, like, the catcher obstructing the plate.
I remember when they first introduced that, and then it went into, like...
Who was it? Like, somebody, like...
Because it trickled down into, like, my Babe Ruth leagues I was playing in.
Yeah. Well, like, some announcer was, like... Because they, like, went to the replays and totally got it wrong. Like, I don't know if they called him...
I don't remember.
I forget exactly what the situation was, but all I remember is, like, one of the announcers was like, guys, take this down, this date, like, right here, like, baseball, this is the darkest day.
Runner tags and comes home. Stanton's throw to the plate. In time! He is out at the plate! Here's the call. He's safe. Game's going to change from this day on. And mark down the date, July 31st, 2014. Mike Redmond right now rips his shirt off, throws his hat. I feel like doing the same thing.
That's so interesting because I remember, like, was it a week later or, like, the next season? Like, that rule, like, we were, like, so confused. Like, what do we do? Like, I played catcher a little bit too. So you're like, do I stand in this front of this plate? Like, do I have to let him do I have to wait for the ball? Does the ball have to be in the air? Like, what do you, like, there's no strict rule. It's just, like, a very loose rule. And I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Well, and, like, what soccer has now with VAR or whatever it's called, it's like...
What?
I don't know, like, I know soccer's instant replay in the Premier League is really controversial.
Is it?
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I hear all the time, it's like, they've gotten more calls wrong since they had this system in place than...
Who do you think has, like, the best replay? And what sport?
I don't know. I'm tempted to say...
I would say football.
I'm tempted to say football, but then I think about all the controversial calls that happen in the NFL, and it's
I think in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Football definitely. Because basketball always... Like, basketball is also very... Well, with football, you have that one rule of what is a catch. Basketball, there's, like, so many other things, like...
Well, that happened in the Super Bowl, the Eagles and Patriots.
Right.
Like, there were... Like, I still... Like, I'm just going to be objective here. Like, I still don't feel like the Clement touchdown was... Like, obviously it was a touchdown, right?
Right.
But based on how...
There's so many touchdowns in that game, though.
Yeah. But based on how the NFL called that all year, like...
Yes.
I'm not complaining that it stood at all. I'm sure you were. As a Pats fan, but, like, to me, it's like, okay, well, his left foot is down as he's juggling it.
That's not a catch.
Yeah, and then, but, like, I mean, it is a catch, but...
Oh, boy.
But, well, the left foot is... Okay, so, like, he almost has it when the left foot's down. Then he gets the right foot down, and he clearly has it by then. And then the left foot, like, he doesn't quite get it in.
So...
But they're saying, like, he readjusted, like, he controlled it as he readjust as like that's all control was the argument. It's like,
what is possession?
Yeah. Well, I just remember thinking to myself like, okay, well, Steelers fans are going to be pissed because
Jesse.
Yeah.
What's his name? The tight end, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh, that play was gritty.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But then like the Ertz touchdown was close too. I mean, I feel like
it was.
I feel like
it was the same play.
He
actually
established himself as a runner, which was the argument that they ended up using. So I feel like that one was a little more clear cut, but it was still controversial. Like I had to go to the replay thing, and
that game. There was no defense in that game at all, except the end.
There was one punt,
except in the end when they sacked Brady.
Yeah,
that was the most heartbreaking moment of my career as a Pats fan, besides the Tyree catch.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like
besides Tyree.
Let's see, you'd already won it 5 times, including the year before, or the perfect season with.
Dang, but perfect. Who was the perfect team? The Steelers this year,
yeah.
Right? The last that team just came out of nowhere.
The only one, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, not expecting that.
I was expecting like Kansas City or Seattle or Tampa Bay even to come out undefeated. But the Steelers just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? They just know how to draft.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you that. They got James Conner. Like, they lost Le'Veon. They had James Conner ready to go. They had Juju ready to go. And now they have this new kid. What is his name? The 4 touchdowns that one game?
I don't know. I haven't been following
enough. He had 4 touchdowns one game.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Unbelievable. That front office deserves a little pay boost there. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We've gone
How long have we gone?
I had to do the math because there was a period we had to pause because practice was getting out and the noise was coming in. But I think we're at an hour and a half right now. I'll probably trim it down. Probably a little bit less than that at this point. Yeah, because there's been a little bit of like dead air and. Well, I don't know. I'll try to keep as much of like the actual content in, but it's like dead air, like when we're trying to remember the Sixers roster and everything. Like I usually try to trim that out a little bit, but yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to cover in the sports world?
I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah,
we've covered everything from commissioners to Tyree.
Yeah,
to announcers.
Yeah, I have to ask just real quick. I was gonna ask about your like any other hobbies you have or like what you do for entertainment, but is sports like your main?
Sports, cooking.
Oh, that's true. I mean, you make some good pancakes.
That's Wikerd's recipe.
Yeah,
I can't say any credit.
But you help with it.
I do add when he's not looking. I'll add a little bit extra oil or some sugar.
Did anyone break your record this year?
No, Dan. Shout out to Daniel Erickson here. This man was gunning for my record, and I was.
What is your record?
Freaking out. I think it's 24. I thought it was 26. But
I thought it was 20.
No, no, it's higher than 29.
24.
But everyone told me it was 24, so I obviously believe everyone else. And I think Dan was at 16, and I was like sweating, so I started eating. I'm like, all right, and then unfortunately he threw up.
Oh man.
But I have a feeling next pancake lunch / dinner I am going to have a run for my money.
Yeah. I think the most I've ever gone is 5.
Schneider.
Like,
I had 16 this past one.
Well, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I feel like I try to. Sometimes I have like 4 meals a day. You know, like I eat smaller portions, more spread out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so I got to ask you about this. Do you watch the hot dog eating contest every year?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Not every year. I watched it this past year. But I watch it occasionally. It'll be on during the 4th of July.
It's like this is like my hot take. But to me, like Joey Chestnut is up there with the greatest athletes in the world.
Oh my god!
Like I don't know.
Let's
I don't know if you think that's. I don't know if you think that's ridiculous, but I just like, come on, man! Like 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Like,
I'll agree with you.
My thing is like it's a physical competition. You have to train muscles in your body for. Like, not any human being can do that.
That's fair. The man looks great.
Yeah.
I had one hot dog in Lane today, and I felt terrible. So I don't know how you're going to have 75 or 74.
But with
Did
Buns,
he break it this year again?
Yeah, his record was 74. Like he's been. What is he up to now? Is he like 13 or 14 years? I think Stoney beat him 1 year. Like that was big.
That man is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever watch Stoney's YouTube channel?
Yeah. You know Badland Chugs?
I don't think so.
He's that big dude.
Yeah.
Oh, he had like 12. He'll take have you like 2 gallons of like milk and just down it all.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah.
But I would put him. I can let that slide.
Well, this is my thing with like because I'm a racing fan, so it's like when people say racing isn't a sport, like auto racing's not a sport. I usually come back with, well, okay, another name for it is motor sport, but like whatever, like say what you will, right? When you say race car drivers aren't athletes, like I gotta put my foot down. Like I almost take that personally, because that's like. To me, like people, I like to think most people just like don't know, but I have ammunition, I have arguments to use like against that.
So would you compare it? Oh boy, I gotta tread these waters carefully here.
No.
I would compare a NASCAR athlete to an esports athlete.
Not at all. Not at all, and I'll tell you why.
From my outside view.
Okay. Well, let me give you this comparison here. So, like...
Just because, I'm comparing an athlete to someone who is physically exerting themselves. And...
See? Okay, I got it. All right. Well, let me enlighten you.
Here we go.
On the
I know. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to shut up.
Yeah, I don't want to, like, come off as, like, just this is my passion.
Listen,
we got to clear the air on this.
My uncle's a huge NASCAR fan.
So. Okay, yeah. So I want to say this on air because it's like, so there was. Well, where do I even start? There has been legitimate talk, like especially with the pandemic, everything like iRacing exploded, like like 2K took off a little bit. Madden took like when you get in a simulator, like you actually have the wheel and you have the pedals and like.
That's why I was comparing them.
Yeah, but the thing is like there has been serious talk about could esports find a great race car driver, and so there's this kid named Brendan Lee, who's he's over on the F1 side of things, almost like their inaugural esports champion. He got offered to do a test with like, I don't even know what the series was. It was like a Formula Ford, like really really low entry, bottom of the chain kind of series,
entry level.
Yeah, like straight into the development. Like you're not going to put him in an F1 car, obviously, but. Like, his first race in that car, like, he wrecked. That's like... Now, and I don't want to, like, the kid has mad talent and, like, is... he's an e-athlete. Like, esports, I mean,
It's coordination.
Yeah. Like, I could not... Like, I play the games, but, like, I couldn't do what he does. Like, I have a tremendous amount of respect for it. But it's not the same. Like, you watch, like, some of Lewis Hamilton's, like, onboard laps, it's like... The amount of G-forces.
That's what I was figuring.
Yeah, and this is the other. Okay. So this is the other story. There was 3 years ago. There was a driver, Pascal Wehrlein. Again, this is F1. He was doing like an off-season race of champions kind of exhibition race.
Okay.
And was in a bad accident, like broke 2 vertebrae in his back, and it was fine. He just couldn't do his off-season training while he was hurt.
Okay.
So he was physically cleared in March for the first race, and like did the first couple practice sessions, and he voluntarily went to his team and said like, guys, I missed my training. I'm not in shape. I can't handle a full race. It's like he took himself out. He was medically cleared. He had to miss the first 2 races because his physical fitness level was not at the point it needed to be where...
I figured it had something to do with like G-forces and core stability, I'm assuming. And
well, and especially like you get into the summertime, like those cars
endurance.
Yeah, well, I mean it's a matter of endurance and like heat. Like, I mean there have been times where the cockpit temperature gets up to 140, and it's like,
okay,
you got the fire suits that help.
Fair argument.
Yeah, and like the guys will get out of their car like there was a race in Richmond a few years ago, and Jimmy Johnson did the Boston Marathon last year. Like this guy does triathlons, and it's like, I don't think it's any coincidence that he's a 7-time champion and one of the fittest guys in the garage. Like, I think there's something to be said for those going hand in hand.
Right.
But this is Jimmy Johnson here. This isn't just an average guy. Gets out of his car after a 400-lap race at Richmond, and they got to take him to the infield care center. He's got to get an IV because he's exhausted.
Right.
You know? So
fair.
Yeah. I mean, you take it out on the you take it out on the sport as a whole, and it's like, it's just a bunch of rednecks who turn left. It's like, okay. You want to go there, it's fine.
Well, I mean, you got to take into account, you got to know, it's very logistical too, right?
Yeah.
You don't have gauges.
Yeah,
you don't have any speedometer, right? Nothing, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have a tack, so they go down
you don't know your tire pressure, you don't know how much gas you have, you don't know anything. You don't know where...
Yeah, well, I mean, your crew has to feed that too. I mean, it is such a team sport.
Exactly.
There's so many people that go into it, but...
I remember my uncle, I said something stupid to him one day, and he just went off about how...
Well, and my thing is if another thing I like to tell people is if I take my basketball out around the block and I just start dribbling, as I'm am I an NBA player?
No.
Am I an athlete? So people say, oh, it's just driving a car. Well, it's well, sure. If you can drive your car down the interstate. It doesn't make you an athlete. You're pedaling out there at 60 miles an hour. When you're approaching 200, and
the way Wikerd drives.
But you're approaching 200, you're inches from the wall, and you got a car on your inside, and one wrong move, and it's...
Game
and that's
over.
the thing. Baseball, you've got a moment to prepare for the pitch, and then, you can take a moment to reset,
Milliseconds, though.
Yeah. You can't reset behind the...
You make one mistake, it's game over.
Yeah.
You're flying. You're taking off in a vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, you can lead... all 499 miles of a 500. If you're not, you make a mistake, turn 4 last lap.
That's crazy. 500 miles.
Yeah.
Well, how long does that take?
It depends on the track, but usually about 3 hours at least.
That's insane.
I mean,
that's insane.
There are way too many 500-mile races.
That's the only a reason why people don't watch NASCAR as much, because the races are so long.
Well, the thing is, Daytona should be 500.
Oh, yeah.
And
Daytona 500.
Darlington, the Southern 500 is a historical race. And then the race at Charlotte is the Coke 600. And, that's, the whole reason that race was born was because, that was supposed to be an endurance race. But, there is no reason for either Talladega race to be 500 miles, just because that's such a crapshoot race anyway. And
yeah, I feel like...
You tear up a bunch of cars. That race could easily be 400 or even 300 miles, and it wouldn't change a thing in my opinion. The Texas race that just happened this week, it's this is a long race. Thinking about 500 miles around this place, but
that's just so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I would watch it if it was a little shorter. I feel like that's how
F1's a little bit shorter. Do you have Netflix?
No, I don't.
Okay. If you ever get access to Netflix, Drive to Survive. It got Josh Crowder hooked on the sport. We talk Formula 1 all the time now. Got a couple.
My roommate has it. We do watch shows on it, so I do have access to it.
You remember? Were you here with Dylan Burge? You remember him?
Yes.
Yeah, he got hooked on it.
Drive to Survive.
Yeah, and a couple. There were at least four Gordon students that I know that hadn't even heard of it, no interest in it, and then they're scrolling through Netflix, they come across it, and it's they're in love with the sport now.
Really?
So
I've heard motocross is having a huge...
Yeah, motocross is, I think, on the rise a little bit.
I listened to Bill Burr's podcast.
Yeah.
And he talks about it all the time. Of course, he's paid to, but
yeah.
I feel like that's a resurging sport.
Yeah, well, the F1 races are usually about an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
Yeah, the only thing is Hamilton's just winning all the time now. You got to get
one guy winning.
Yeah, I mean, which is Lewis is phenomenal, but it would be nice to see that Ferrari's having the worst year in years. Which
I love Ferraris.
Yeah. Well, you follow my social media,
you rant sometimes.
Yeah. I actually found there was I think Elliot Kipchoge was congratulating Lewis because he just broke Michael Schumacher's win record.
Really?
Yeah.
How many is that?
There was a 92.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, and they don't even like. There's only about 20 races a year on average.
Really?
They've expanded the calendar a little bit, but like NASCAR is 36. So Jeff Gordon has 93 wins. And it's like
8. What number was he?
24.
Who was the A car?
Junior Earnhart.
Yeah. That's the only car I knew for some reason.
Yeah.
That and the Home Depot car.
Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to watch it. My dad.
Sure. Yeah.
Uncle used to watch it.
Back in the day. Yep.
The good old days.
Yeah.
So I actually saw a video on TikTok about the car models, about how crappy they are now, apparently. Like, the horsepower has gone down. Like, they used to be, like, 900 horsepower.
It's 550 now at some tracks.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I think they wanted to create, like, a package where it was, like, you got Talladega, Daytona-style racing at mile and a half. Like, because everybody was complaining about, like, I think dirty air. I mean, dirty air has always been an issue, but long story short, they have a package now where it's only 550 horsepower, and they have these massive spoilers on the back of the car that create so much downforce. So not only do you have guys running basically wide open at mile and a half, but when a car is faster, gets behind another car, like, it can catch the slower car ahead of him, but trying to pass is just virtually impossible.
Right.
So the racing, I think, has suffered, and I'm hoping with this next gen car coming out.
I saw that. It sounded nice too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it fixes some of these things, but I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up too much. But
wow,
yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah. Did you watch Ford vs Ferrari?
No. Why does that sound so familiar?
It was a movie that came out last year.
I
Matt
feel
Damon,
like I've
Christian
seen
Bale.
people talking about this.
Okay, yeah. Bale was up for. I don't know if he was up for
like Ford, like
Ford versus Ferrari. Just
like a specific car or just the brand?
Le Mans.
Oh,
it's a story about.
No.
So Ford.
I definitely know about this.
I won't give too much of the movie away, but basically, like in the early '60s, Ferrari were dominating sports car racing in Le Mans, but they used their entire budget to get to that point, and so they were in financial trouble.
Oh, okay.
So Ford was in talks very briefly to buy them out and enter a partnership with them.
Oh, Ferrari?
Yeah. Can you imagine Ford and Ferrari like being under the same roof?
No.
Like how different history would be today.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But talks ended up breaking down.
Don't spoil this, because I want to watch it.
Yeah. So long story short, Fiat ends up, which they have now to this day.
Chrysler.
Fiat. I don't know. There have been so many mergers with the whole auto.
Did you know Mercedes, BMW, and like 5 other brands is like all the same thing with Volkswagen?
Yeah, but the German companies, do they have?
It's insane.
It doesn't surprise. Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're, I mean, I know you're talking about how long the NASCAR races are, but 24 hours of Le Mans. It's like
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that takes a lot to like you really have to be invested if you're going to get into like endurance racing and everything. But yeah. Well, man, this has been a lot of fun.
Been a podcast. Are you labeling these as podcasts?
I think so. I mean, I don't have them like. I'm only putting like
put them on
the movies
Spotify
together. I've thought about trying to. Yeah, I mean, maybe when like get through the semester and then like look into getting like all the show files like downloaded them back from my YouTube channel and like cool. I'll keep putting them on YouTube like I.
You gotta turn your sleep timer off that computer.
Yeah.
I see you every 10 minutes.
It's
just like no.
Yeah, I gotta.
Just turn it off, Schneider.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't affect. I don't think. It's still recording, but it just like I see it in the corner of my eye and it like bothers me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we gotta work on getting these on like Spotify. Or
I would love that because
I need to talk to Will a lot because I think Will got his on Spotify.
It's not that hard.
Yeah,
like to get a Spotify.
Yeah, no, I know for sure. We definitely could do it. It's just
because Spotify is like leaping into the podcast world a lot, and I listen to a ton of podcasts when I'm driving because I work for Instacart, and so shopping without music or podcasts sucks.
Yeah.
So I am a huge podcast guy. And that would be nice to have your podcast on Spotify.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, like YouTube, like trying to watch in the app without your phone falling asleep. I think you need YouTube Premium. So
yeah, which sucks.
That would definitely, it'd be nice to have these on another platform. But man, this is easily the longest I've gone with anybody. But I've loved it. I appreciate the conversation.
Hey,
and,
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
anytime,
it.
Man.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Because I know you've got. You're a busy man yourself, so I appreciate you taking the time out to come on and tell your story and to talk sports. We covered a lot of ground.
So it was so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.